There are two ways to achieve peace in society. One is through the force of the police state, where domination and fear are used to enforce compliance. That's what we have in the United States now. And as you can see, it doesn't really keep the peace all that well. The other way to achieve social peace is through the consent of the citizens. This is what I mean by contract law. The real enforcement of contract law enforces consent. What passes for contract law today actually enforces predation, fraud, and trickery. Peace in any society can best be achieved through the consensual, equal protection of the individual rights of each person. I mentioned in the last video that one way to achieve peace through equality is by learning to coexist with the opposition. But that's not the correct way to look at it. We don't want to coexist with any opposition. The secret is to not think of people who are different than you as the opposition at all. Any people who want to peacefully coexist with others is not the opposition. They are allies with all others who choose peaceful coexistence over forced dominance of one political ideology over another. One way to unite the left and the right is to tear down the social terminology and concepts that divide us. I demonstrated one way to do this in the last video by introducing the polyangle as the replacement for the archaic and divisive political spectrum. But we must also reevaluate the concepts of social class. When the elite allow the discussion of social class at all, they tell us there's 7 social classes: the elite, the lower upper class, the upper middle class, the middle class, the lower middle class, the poor, and the destitute. To divide society into so many different categories and compartments only goes to separate people. Although the middle class has much more in common with the poor, they continue to identify with the elite thanks to massive commercialism and the continuous marketing of the myth of the so-called American dream. The middle class and even much of the poor are convinced to strive towards something they'll actually never achieve: elite status. The elite have convinced us of yet another lie, that we too can become one of the oppressors. Well, equalists don't identify with the elite. Equalists don't want to become the elite. We don't want to join with our oppressors. We must re-examine the concept of social class to make it more reflective of reality. We equalists recognize only 2 classes, not the 7 the elite will have us believe. The 2 classes are the elite and everybody else. Everybody else are called the comlen. The word comlen is both singular and plural in its usage. It applies to any individual person or group of people who aren't members of the elite. The elite themselves are divided in 2. There's the power elite, those with the actual wealth and power. And then there's the authority elite, those who are given the authority by the elite to enforce their oppression. Sometimes the authority elite overlap with the power elite. But most of the authority elite overlap with the comlen, such as the police, in both private sector and public sector, bureaucrats, and anyone who isn't wealthy who enforces the will of the elite. But other than that overlap, all the comlen are one entity and will no longer be divided into different classes so as to create conflict and divide us. The reality is, I, as a poor person, have much more in common with anyone in the middle class than the middle class has in common with the elite. In this way, the comlen are all one social class. Politics itself is divided into many sections and factions. Most of these factions identify themselves as being on the left or the right, and most of these factions are led by predators and fascists who serve no purpose but to keep society divided. The only people who aren't led by fascists are those who aren't led at all. Rule by fascists is called predonomics. Rule by an elite is called predonomics. Rule by predators is called predonomics. Fascism, elitism, and predation are all the same thing. Predonomics. Predonomics offers the comlen three choices in how the elite will rule us. The liberal elite offers us rule by the elite through government. The conservative elite offers us rule by the elite through big business and corporatism. These predators never mention the third choice, their true mutual goal, the reality of modern society. And that's the reality of rule by the elite through a symbiosis of both business and government. Equalism offers a fourth choice, not to be ruled at all. Once the comlen recognizes its power through its own unity, it can achieve a society structured based on empathy and consent through the enforcement of contract law. We'll achieve peace by possessing a deep, abiding respect for the rights of others. The comlen must unite. We, non-predators, must unite. We equalists must unite. Again, we equalists ask everyone, how do you expect the whole world to change if you yourself are unwilling to change? We can achieve social peace through the mutual protection of each individual's right to choose their own beliefs. It's called empathy and consent through contract law. The next in this video series will be called Equalism 103. Please share this video series with as many non-predators as you possibly can. Thanks.